Hello everyone. In the previous lecture, we were discussing about concept attainment model. We saw that Jerome Bruner and his associates are credited with the development of concept attainment model. We also saw certain assumptions underlying this model and also elements of concept, there are 5 elements of concept like name, essential attributes, non-essential attributes, examples, and the last one, that is rule. We also saw certain strategies for concept attainment model like reception-oriented CAM, selection-oriented CAM, and unorganized material CAM. Reception-oriented CAM, here the labeled examples are presented as yes or no, which indicates positive and negative examples respectively. In selection-oriented CAM, we saw that the list of examples is presented before the students, which are not labeled as yes or no, but students select the examples at a time and ask the teacher to label the selected example as positive and negative. An unorganized material CAM, wherein it is based on group discussion and the concept is presented first and later on the attributes of concepts are defined. So let us see in detail some of the major aspects, or we can say components, associated with this model. And the example that we have taken here is of reception-oriented model. And we know that reception-oriented model, in this particular model, the examples are presented in 2 categories labeled as yes or no, which are positive and negative examples respectively. To start with, the syntax, which is nothing but the steps or phases, it involves following phases. The phase 1, which is presentation of data and identification of concept. So basically in phase 1, the teacher presents the data and the students try to identify the concept. So first point under phase 1 is teacher presents labeled examples, and we know that the labeled examples are yes and no. Later to that, students compare attributes in positive and negative examples. We have seen earlier that positive examples are yes examples and negative examples are no examples. So students compare the attributes or characteristics, or maybe we can call features, of both these categories. And students here generate and test the hypothesis which they formulate during comparing the attributes of positive and negative examples. Later to that, students state a definition according to the essential attributes, as they have identified certain essential attributes which are related to the yes or no examples, or maybe we can call positive and negative examples. Now let us see phase 2 of reception-oriented model, which is testing attainment of concept. Here, students identify additional unlabeled examples as yes or no. So the students here are given an opportunity to think of additional unlabeled examples which they need to categorize into yes or no. Then teacher confirms hypothesis after they have formulated one, and when they test the hypothesis, teacher would confirm whether the hypothesis is accepted or rejected. Once it is confirmed by the teacher, the students would name the concept and restate the definitions according to the essential attributes. Later to that, students generate examples after confirmation of the hypothesis. Phase 3 of this particular model is about analysis of thinking strategies. Here students describe their thoughts of how they have come or how they came to that particular concept. And they also discuss the role of hypothesis and attributes, how it helped them come to that understanding of the given concept. And students also discuss type and number of hypotheses which were framed during the process. So these were some of the components associated with the model, which included the syntax, which had 3 phases. Now the next component is a social system. As we have seen in the previous lecture, what exactly social system means and what does it cover in every model that we would study. So the first point under social system for concept attainment model is it has a moderate structure. Moderate structure as in here the role of a teacher and a student is equally distributed. Neither the teacher nor the student is given overall dominance in the classroom, but both the teacher and the students play an equal role in order to carry out or conduct the activities in the class using concept attainment model. Teacher controls the sequence of the lesson, but open dialogue occurs in the later phases. Although teacher is aware of the sequence that he or she has to follow. So in a way, the teacher controls the sequence of the lesson because the teacher would give them the instructions of what they have to do in the next step. Students' interaction is encouraged because without asking questions about the essential attributes or the characteristics of the example presented, it is not possible to go ahead with the given model. And as students gain experience, they are encouraged to take initiative in the inductive process. So as we have seen in phase 2, wherein they are given an opportunity to add unlabeled additional examples, so here they are encouraged to initiate the process on their own. Teacher's role is to choose the concept, select and organize the material into positive and negative examples and sequence examples. So here teacher has to do a lot of homework wherein the teacher would choose a concept which he or she would like to teach using concept attainment model and select and organize the examples which are positive and negative examples of a given concept, for which she has to also sequence the examples. And during the presentation, he or she acts as a recorder, keeping a record of the hypothesis and attributes as they are mentioned by the students. He or she has to supply additional examples as needed if the situation demands and if the students are unable to understand the concept. The teacher should be in a position to supply additional examples. So you need to carry few additional examples with you before you start with an activity using concept attainment model. He or she has to do prompting or give cues and present supporting data as and when needed. Cooperative learning procedures can also be used, which include various strategies which can help you proceed with the concept attainment model. So this was about the social system or the condition or the interaction that we would see in a classroom wherein concept attainment model is being implemented. Moving ahead, let us see some principles of reaction that are expected to happen or occur in a concept attainment model. First one is during the lesson, the teacher needs to be supportive of the student's hypothesis. So you need to encourage the student's hypothesis, no matter whether you have to accept or reject it later. See to it that you support the student's hypothesis and help them improve the way they put it. Helps students to initiating a dialogue so that they test their hypothesis against each other. So you need to encourage them or motivate them to ask questions or improve or increase the interaction between each other or among the peers or between the teacher and the student so that they can test the hypothesis and check whether the hypothesis which they have stated is accepted or can be accepted or rejected. Helps students to focus their attention on specific attributes of the examples. So if the students are diverting from the topic, you need to change their focus to the specific attributes of an example for which they can choose any example related or any attribute related to the example. So you need to choose the examples wisely and see to it that the students are focusing on the correct attribute that you wish your students to do in order to proceed with the model. Assist or help students in discussing and evaluating their thinking strategies. So in a way, it is a reflective teaching wherein the students will apply the strategies in the process or maybe during the process and they get an opportunity to analyze or see or maybe what we can say reflect on the strategies whatever that they used during the process. So these were the principles of reaction or how a teacher should respond or how a teacher should react in a situation which demands a smooth functioning of concept attainment model. Moving ahead, let us see the support system or additional information or maybe we can say audiovisual aids that may be required in a concept attainment model class. Carefully selected and organized materials or data in the form of examples, which we have already discussed, which the teacher needs to do a lot of homework on, is the support system that would be required in order to go ahead with concept attainment model because The entire concept attainment model, especially reception-oriented model, is based on the kind of examples that a teacher would choose in order to teach a given concept. So that support system plays a very important role. So we have seen today various components of model, including the syntax, the social system, principles of reaction, and support system. Under that, we saw different points. So we'll see more in detail about this particular model, that is concept attainment model, in our next lecture. Thank you.